Hi there, grief growers. A quick note before we get into today's episode. I'm taking the month of December off the podcast to rest, reset, and make space for my own life after loss. This time of year, which I affectionately refer to as the tilt, can feel especially tender for me and for so many others. But instead of going quiet, I'm re-airing the 4 most popular episodes of 2025. These are the episodes that listeners and viewers on YouTube came back to again and again. So if you are grieving, caregiving, or just trying to survive this holiday season, I hope they offer you something steady to lean on. And because the holiday season and the turn of a new year can stir up so much, memories, dread, pressure, rage, all of it, I want to make sure you have support. You can join Life After Loss Academy for 1 month free with the discount code New Year's Grief. This is my online grief community filled with practical tools, weekly support calls, and a space where your grief is always welcome. Again, that is New Year's Grief, all caps, all one word. If this month feels complicated, because time keeps going for better and for worse, come be with people who get it. Thank you for being a listener this year and growing through grief with me. Now here's today's episode. How do I announce a loved one's death on social media? My person just died. What do I say? What should I post? How do I go about approaching doing this thing that I have never done before, which is talking about a death of someone I love dearly on a platform where I'm usually sharing things like vacation photos or pictures of my kids or news articles or memes? How do I share one of the most devastating things that's happened to me? Hi there, grief growers, and welcome back to Grief Grower. I am so honored to be here with you as always. If you have been growing alongside me and my work for a while, welcome back. And if you are new to me and this podcast, hello. My name is Shelby Forsythia. I'm a grief coach, 2-time author, soon to be 3-time author, and founder of Life After Loss Academy. And I have had the joy of helping thousands of grieving people stop feeling lost, broken, and alone in the midst of grief, and start building lives that they genuinely love from the lives that loss forced them to live. This, of course, not only includes death-related losses, but divorce, breakup, major diagnosis, and all the other big and small losses that change your life. Here on the show, and in my work as a whole, we believe that grief is not something to get over. It is something that we grow with and alongside, and that when we stop treating grief like a problem to be solved and start seeing it as an invitation to interact with life more deeply, we can create meaningful lives that are rich with all of the memories that we carry, the struggles that we faced, and the awareness of the preciousness of what it means to be alive right now. Today on the show is sort of an Ask Shelby, and this is not a question that was posed to me directly. It's a question that I saw somewhere online. I'll tell you where in a minute. And it inspired me to produce this show and come up with a response to it because it's a question that so many grieving people have, and that is, how do I announce a loved one's death on social media? We live in a world where so much of our lives revolves around our phones and the ways that we are digitally connected on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, elsewhere, where we are connected to each other. And in a world where so many of us have geographically moved away from friends and family, it's often the biggest and fastest way to stay in touch with a lot of people all at one time. And so a big question that a lot of grieving people have is, my person just died. What do I say? What should I post? How do I go about approaching doing this thing that I have never done before, which is talking about a death of someone I love dearly on a platform where I'm usually sharing things like vacation photos or pictures of my kids or news articles or memes? How do I share one of the most devastating things that's happened to me? So recently I came across this post on Reddit from a grieving parent who had just lost their 22-year-old daughter, and they were struggling with whether or not to share what happened on Facebook. And this is a public post, so it's something that everyone on the internet can view and see, which is why I feel comfortable reading it here and responding to it in the way that I did. Their post reads, "My 22-year-old daughter died last night in a car accident. We are devastated, of course, and we're getting lots of support from our family and friends. I'm pretty active on Facebook, and it feels very bizarre to see people posting things on there that don't know what has happened to us. But I also don't want to be a weird attention seeker by announcing this on Facebook. At the same time, it feels strange to not let people know. I feel stupid even asking this. I don't even know what to do with myself right now, but if you're pretty active on Facebook and Instagram, should you mention a big life change like this? And if so, how? Or do you just let the news spread organically through friends? I'm not the type of person to post to every little stomach ache or anything. I'm probably just denying reality by even thinking about this right now. Please share your thoughts. Thank you." And this post was written a few months ago, so I kind of missed the boat on responding to it in real time. But I hope that the structure that I put together in the rest of this podcast will help you if you are in a space where someone you love has just died and you have to write an announcement on social media, that this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 step framework can help you figure out what the heck to say as you are writing something to be widespread to a lot of people. And the honesty of this post and the frankness and forthrightness was something that really hit me in my heart, because I've heard questions like this from so many grieving people that I've worked with and grieving people across the world. Is it weird to announce somebody's death on social media? Will people think that I'm seeking attention or just trying to get people's eyeballs on me? What happens if I say too much or if I say the wrong thing? These are all really valid questions to have when it comes to how do I talk about a death online? So let's go through the steps, step by step, and I will walk you through my best practices for how to write a death announcement on social media in a way that feels the most true for you. And as with every other episode of this show, I would love to know what you think. I would also love to know, in this case, if I missed something. Is there something about what I'm about to outline here that you feel like, oh, I would love to add to that, or there's an element of this that needs to be explored? And as always, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments on YouTube or in my DMs on Instagram or anywhere else that you'd like to connect with me. Okay, let's start with step one, and that is, before you do anything, I want you, as much as you can in this moment, to get grounded. So before you open up the new post generator on Facebook or Instagram, take a breath. Your nervous system is probably going through a lot right now, whether that's overdrive or shock or devastation, disbelief, numbness, unplugging, or not being able to sleep for multiple days at a time, which can often happen in grief. You do not need to post about a death right away. I know death often feels like an urgent event, and it is catastrophic and life-changing. And also, in the words of so many of my favorite hospice and death care workers, death is not an emergency. The worst thing that could possibly happen has already happened, and worse things happening or more catastrophic things happening do not hinge on whether or not you post them on social media. So as much as you can, take the urgency out of this pressure to post on social media. You do not need to post right away. Take a moment as much as you possibly can. Again, sometimes it's possible, sometimes it's not. In the bustle of life after loss, to put your feet on the ground and close your eyes and ask yourself the following 3 questions. Do I want to share this right now? What is my intention, whether that's connection or boundary setting, honoring your person, or something else? And who are you writing this for? Who is your intended audience? Are you writing this to get it off your chest, to write it for yourself? Are you trying to reach a wider circle of people? Or are you trying to contact specific friends? Know that there is no requirement, once again, to share about a loss on social media. This is not a mandatory part of grieving. But if you do feel called to do this, it can be a helpful way to let people know what has happened without personally making dozens of calls or writing a ton of private texts and emails that will then receive some sort of response, whether that's people crying on the phone in your direction or leaving you voicemails or sending emails back or sending text messages back. Social media is often a way for us to broadcast the news of a death without then being inundated with tons and tons of responses. After you get grounded, step two is choosing a photo or not. Sometimes the hardest part of announcing a death is choosing a picture. I gotta say right away and validate this for you, it's okay to skip the photo. If you do not want to post this with a photo, if you just want to do a text announcement or something that's typed in the Notes app on your phone and then screenshot it and post it on Instagram, that is an option. You can just write what's on your heart and what you're feeling. You can also, if you're not interested in posting a picture of your loved one, use a symbolic image like a sunset or a candle, or maybe your loved one's favorite place. And if you want to, you can share a picture of your person where maybe you're at a place that they really loved or doing something together, or it's a shot of them alone, smiling, and a recent photo or a long ago photo that you feel embodies their best and truest self and really illustrates the relationship that you have to them. Images can help people emotionally connect to a post, but they're not necessary to make a death announcement on social media. It's kind of like a nice to have, and if you feel called to, great. If you feel like it will add to the announcement itself or give people more information, fantastic. If not, and if it just absolutely shreds your heart, the thought of scrolling through photos on your phone or going through boxes of photos, or maybe you don't have access to those things right now, it is okay to just do a post that is text-based. One thing I do want to point out, like a really big asterisk here, is that in moments of intense shock and grief, it is really, really normal and common to want to show the reality of what happened. And what I mean is this. Oftentimes, after a loss, people want to share photos regarding or surrounding how someone died. This is often true for things like car accidents, overdoses, homicides, suicides, especially if there was news coverage surrounding the story. Please take great, 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 great care in doing this, because not only can these photos be deeply distressing to other people, especially if this is the first that they're hearing about the loss, these photos are often flagged and removed for graphic content by social media platforms. So, as powerful as these images can feel in the moment, they often fail to encompass the full depth and complexity of your relationship with the person who died. And on top of that, they can alarm or hurt other people who you are trying to simply get information out to. So if you want to honor the truth of what happened while still protecting the community that you're trying to reach and also preventing the post from being taken down by social media, consider something symbolic or a picture of your person. This could be like an indirect photo of a hospital bracelet, a tattoo, a favorite piece of jewelry of theirs. If you don't want to post their face, you could do a picture of the sky or a landscape or a place in the world where you feel connected to them. This could be objects like coffee mugs, books, sports jerseys, record albums, a note or a poem or a quote that they loved. But whatever you choose as the photo, if you're not comfortable showing their face, let the initial death announcement reflect who this person was to you in life and not just how they died. If you want, you can make other posts in the future about the circumstances surrounding their death or the nitty-gritty details of their final days, if those are things that you lived through. But for this very first post, for kind of, the launch of the death announcement, very much consider how you are telling and framing the picture of the experience of losing them, and take extraordinarily great care not to post graphic or distressing photos of the manner in which they died. Because for as much as you may not realize it right now, what you say in this moment, in this post, has a lot of power, especially if for many people this is the first time that they are hearing about your loved one's death. Okay, step three. This is writing the announcement. We're actually down to the part where we're going to write words about the loss. This is a super simple structure you can use to announce a death on Facebook, Instagram, or any other platform where you would like to make a death announcement. I am devastated to share that my relationship, name, died, insert date of death, yesterday, last night, March 22nd, in a car accident, to cancer, whatever the case may be that they died from. I am heartbroken and still trying to understand what happened. And then the next sections are optional. I'm receiving support from family and friends, and I'm taking things one moment at a time. Also optional, please know I'm not able to respond to comments or messages or even texts right now, but I see you and I feel your love. Also optional, I'll share more details about a memorial, a service, how to help when they're available. And then closing out with something like, my heart is shattered. This is a big deal. This has impacted me in an incredible way. Some statement of this is significant, and gratitude if you have space to relay it. So thank you for holding me, my loved one, and my family in your thoughts. We appreciate your prayers. We see you, we love you, whatever the case is, to kind of wrap it up and put a sort of concluding statement on it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being their friend in life. However you would like to close out this statement. And kind of with regard to this framework, this initial framework of posting about a death on social media, step 4 is set boundaries, and this is optional, but it can feel very empowering to you. Social media a lot of times can be a floodgate of information and communication. So if you're not up for receiving a lot of DMs or comments or let me know how I can help text messages or voicemails on your phone, it's okay to include that in this death announcement. You can say something like, we're not ready for messages or drop-bys to the house right now. We appreciate your understanding. If you'd like to support us, please reach out to Carol, our neighbor, who's helping us coordinate meals and rides. You can be like, you don't reach out to me. Go reach out to that other person. Do not come in my messages. I will not respond to them. Go hang out with Carol. Or I'm just not able to respond to comments, so please be kind to each other. And this is the case too, especially for violent or traumatic deaths, and things that can have some controversy surrounding them. I'm thinking things like homicide, suicide, or overdose. A lot of people in the comments, depending on how big your network is, may be discussing how or why things happened. Was it preventable? I mean, people can get to the politics of what happened. I am not able to respond to these comments personally, so please be kind is a marvelous boundary to set. And then finally, our whole family is taking space offline, and we'll share updates when we're able. Oh, and one more for you. I'm not interested in receiving grief support recommendations right now. Do not leave your books. Do not leave your podcasts. Do not leave your websites. Do not tell me your therapist's name. Instead, please share happy memories you have about insert loved one's name here. That's a wonderful boundary to set, especially in the immediate aftermath of loss, because so many people are like, I want to be helpful. I just want to help. I want to, connect you with my therapist or my psychiatrist or my sleep doctor, or whatever the case may be. Not helpful. Not helpful in the immediate aftermath. I'm laughing because it's like all too true. And it's really uncomfortable as a person to whom something devastating just happened to receive a resource as if it's like a band-aid over a gaping wound. Really not helpful. So that's a marvelous boundary. If you're anticipating that you're in a friend or family group where people are just going to start recommending stuff right away, great boundary to set. A very clear boundary to set too. It is possible to be clear and kind when writing a death announcement on social media. Step 5 is to acknowledge what you're feeling. This can happen in that conclusion statement, and even in a short death announcement, you can name what it is that you're feeling right now. And this not only helps others understand the gravity of what you're going through, it gives them permission to have their feelings about what happened as well. You can say something like, I do not have words for this level of pain. My heart is broken into 1,000 pieces. I can't believe I'm writing this. This does not feel real yet, and I'm not sure when it will. Insert your emotional landscape here, because despite what society often communicates about negative, heavy air quotes, emotions like sorrow, pain, and anger, it is more than appropriate to relay those emotions in a death announcement. They are normal feelings to have, and naming them, pinpointing what you're feeling, if you can, right now, can help other people feel allowed to share and honor their emotional experiences as well. Death announcements can be like, they died. And death announcements can also be like, they died and it has rocked my world. And one is wrapped in so much more meaning and context and significance to you. So if you're able to pinpoint the emotions that you're experiencing right now, it's a way to frame the death in the context of your world and your landscape. The only asterisk I'll give you here is do not speak on behalf of other people. And so if you're writing something on behalf of an entire family, you might say, I am shattered and the rest of the family is grieving in their own ways. And so you can acknowledge your own emotion, but maybe not speak for everybody else unless you have somebody co-proofreading with you, or you have gathered that this is a communal emotion that you all share. Because you might have, especially in difficult instances, you might have a situation where you're angry, but somebody else is sad or despairing. And you don't want to say the entire family is outraged at this situation because you may not know that for sure. That may not be the reality of what's happening. So, as much as you can in a death announcement, speak for yourself and say something like, and everyone else is grieving in their own ways, which allows them the full spectrum of whatever they are going through right now. Okay, let's get to step 6, which is let people know what's next if you want and if you have this information. Social media death announcements can be a way to update friends and family members about things like memorial services or donations or next steps. Other people prefer not to do that in a social media post and want to wait for an obituary to come out or for another announcement to be made, or they want to keep information like that really private. Whichever way you go, either is fine. But if you want to include something like that, you can say something like, we'll share service details here once we have them. Instead of flowers, we ask that you donate to an organization or plant a tree or write a memory of them on their Facebook wall or something like that. You could also say something like, we're planning a celebration of life. We'll post an update you here as soon as all the details are finalized. And so kind of just letting people know that something is coming is one way you can keep people informed. And again, if you don't want people to know, if you don't have anything in the works, if you know the person who died has no desire to have a ceremony of any kind, you can leave that information out. Or if you don't know what charity they would like things to go to, or if something is uncertain, not required to put that in a social media post. It's common, but not mandatory. And then lastly, step 7, post and log off if needed for your mental health. It is more than okay to make this post, confirm that it went live, and then put your phone away, shut your laptop, and walk away. You do not have to reply to every comment or every DM. You might again write something like, I'm not able to reply to every comment right now or every DM right now, but I am grateful for your kindness. Or I anticipate a lot of people are going to want to respond to this. Please keep your comments brief, or if you want to share a memory with us, we'd be so grateful. We love reading them in the comments or something like that. But really making it clear, like, I'm not going to be active on this thread if that's something that you're concerned about people expecting some sort of response for you. I gotta say, if there was ever an excuse for disengaging from social media, the death of somebody you love is it. So honor your bandwidth and remember that social media should, in a perfect world, serve you and not the other way around. What I don't want you to feel like is that you are tethered now to this announcement and that you are obligated to reciprocate every comment and every reply and every photo and every story that comes in. You can do that 2 weeks from now. You can do that a month from now. You don't have to do it at all. So please exempt yourself from any requirement to be a person who is monitoring the status of this social media post. If that's something that brings you life, if you like seeing who's responding, if you like sort of keeping tabs on who knows and who's sharing photos and who has a great story to tell, you can certainly do that. But there is no requirement that once the post is live, you have to babysit it. And that's something worth knowing when you're making a death announcement post online. So next I want to get into some sample death announcement posts. These are things that can inspire you. If you want one that is very simple and direct, I would encourage you to say something like, my son Ethan died last night in a car accident. We are devastated and trying to breathe through the impossible, taking each moment as it comes. We'll share more when we can. Please hold our family in your hearts. That is 4 sentences. It says exactly what you need to know. It says what's coming next or when you can expect it-ish. And then kind of in a status on your emotional state. What are you feeling right now? And then please hold our family in your thoughts. Number 2, this is one that has some boundaries included and also some information about services that are yet to come. So you might say something like, I am heartbroken to share that my wife Maya died suddenly on April 15th. Our family and friends are shattered. So this is speaking on behalf of a group, but confirm that those emotions are true for everyone. Please know that we are not able to respond to messages right now, but your love is felt. A celebration of Maya's life will be held in her hometown of San Juan before the end of the month. We'll share details here as soon as we have them. And then number three is longer and more personal. You could say something like, I never imagined I'd be writing something like this. My incredible brother Jordan died by suicide on Sunday. He was funny, kind, brilliant, and beloved. I am gutted. My family and I are leaning on each other and taking things day by day. Please don't text, call, or visit the house right now. We are overwhelmed and trying to make all the decisions that need to be made after a loss like this. I'll share more soon, but for now, please light a candle for Jordan. Write a funny story in the comments or share your favorite photo of him. Thank you for loving him. And that's a really beautiful way to clearly state a boundary. Like, we are overwhelmed trying to do the planning, the logistics, everything that comes after. We'll let you know as soon as we have more information, and very clearly asking for things that you want from other people, because other people naturally, especially in the wake of a loss, they want to participate, they want to give of something. And so for them to clearly hear from you, I want you to light a candle, I want a funny story, I want photos and memories of him. Those are things that people can cling on to and say, that I can do. And after a devastating loss, people want to be directed. They want to be funneled oftentimes into things that explicitly you've said are helpful to you. Here's some frequently asked questions about announcing a death on social media. Number one, is it weird to announce a death on Facebook or Instagram? And I hope you know by now in 2025 that it is not. Social media is a tool for communication, just like a phone call, a text message, or an email. It's just en masse. And for a lot of people, it is one of the fastest and easiest ways to update a wide community of people, family, friends, etc., especially if they live far away. Number two, am I oversharing or attention seeking as this parent of the daughter who died by posting something so personal? And I gotta say, not if it feels right or appropriate to you. Sharing a loss online is not about getting clicks or follows or views. It is about being witnessed in your truth and informing others who care about your person about what happened. You get to decide how much you get to share or how much you'd like to share, because grief is personal. But I will say, while grief is personal, it doesn't always have to be private, especially if you know there is a wider network of people who loved your person and would want to know about the fact that they're no longer here. Number three, what happens if people judge me for sharing? And I hate that this is even a question at all, or that we live in a world where people are judging other people for talking about a loved one's death online. This is something that genuinely breaks my heart. Some people will judge you for sharing, but I will say, the people who truly matter and the ones who know your heart, and especially the ones who know your loved one, will not. Most people respond to death announcements on social media with compassion and support and deep care. Some people might ask nosy questions. Some people might give you grief recommendations, even though you've asked them to not do that. But most people, by and large, will recognize that you are going through something earth-shattering and only share compassion, kindness, photos, memories, anything else that you have asked of them. And if somebody doesn't, and they are more interested in judging you or judging the way you worded things or judging the way the person died, that says a crap load more about them than it does about you. And just like posting on social media is not mandatory, responding to them is not mandatory as well. Especially, I'm not into starting a fight in the comment section of social media. You don't have to block them. You don't have to make sure that everybody knows that their judgment has been addressed. You literally can tell yourself, tell the world, tell other people, I've got bigger fish to fry. I have more important, more significant things on my plate right now than their judgments about how my person died, or how I wrote this post, or what I need right now, or the fact that I have boundaries. That's a big thing that people will sometimes judge on social media. Okay, next question. What if I don't know what to say? That is more than okay. Like the first example I gave of like possible scripts, you can keep it short, simple, and honest. You can even say something like, I don't have the words, I just need you to know, which is a very helpful thing to say when you're sharing something on social media. Like, I don't have the words for this. I don't have eloquence in this regard. And grief is not really about being eloquent. It's simply about telling the truth of what happened. And especially if you're trying to contact a lot of people, getting it out to as many people as possible in the quickest possible way. And the last question, what if I regret posting this? What if I regret making an announcement about death online? I will say, a lot of people say things like the internet is written in ink, not pencil, and you can always archive, edit, or delete posts on most social media platforms. I'm thinking things like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, like almost everywhere you can post, it is possible to delete. I will say, of all the death announcements I've made, which has not been very many in my lifetime, but enough to know, and I've talked about grief a lot online, do what feels right for you and your family and your heart in this moment, with the hope and the understanding that future you can look back on this day or on this moment with compassion and understand that you were doing the best you could in an impossible moment. If it feels too painful to remember, or if a year or two later you keep seeing this pop up in your memories, it's like one day, this day last year, as Facebook is wont to do, you can archive it. You can make it so that others can no longer see it or comment on it, or that it no longer pops up in your memories, but that it still exists. Or if, worse comes to worse and you decide you don't want it to be on your Facebook page or Instagram page or wherever it was previously, you can delete it or ask the social media platform to take it down. The last thoughts I have for you are these. And so much of the reason that I was interested in responding to this post on Reddit is that when my mom was dying from cancer, we used Facebook regularly to let people know whether or not it was okay to come by the house. My mom had many, many friends and many, many people who really wanted to see her, especially when she got the news that her cancer was no longer curable. She had a matter of time, not a matter of cure. And when she died, Facebook was the first place we let people know about her death, even before the obituary came out, because we did not want her family or her friends to be shocked seeing the obituary published online and in the newspaper a few days later. We did not want that to be the first time they heard about her death, this kind of like formal necktie way of announcing something. We wanted the words and the photos and the memories and the community to originate with us, as opposed to an online obituary or a newspaper article. I want to reassure you, if you are writing a death announcement right now, you are not broken or weird for wanting to share about a loss on social media. This is something that is so, so incredibly common and normal these days. And you are not wrong for wanting and even needing a way to tell the world that someone who is irreplaceable to you is gone. It is not attention-seeking to update people on your life, especially if that's something you feel called to do, and especially in this era of social media where so many of us document our lives online. We are scrapbooking on the internet. This is a way to make mass announcements and mark periods in time without having to navigate a lot of bonus logistics or unnecessary mental, emotional labor. I'm thinking things like sending texts or starting a phone tree or sending emails. And social media is also a wonderful place to sort of mass set boundaries. As you write this, may this guide, this little 6-step guide, serve as a framework as you find the words to convey one of the hardest things to ever happen to you. And when you hit publish, may you know that you did the very, very best you could to honor the state of your heart and your relationship to the person who died, this person that you loved. And of course, if you would like more step-by-step tips like these for navigating life after loss, subscribe to the show. This is a free spot where I am taking questions from people who've experienced great loss and answering them in the most practical and comforting ways possible, so you know how to live life after loss in a way that resonates most with you. So as with everything, take what resonates, discard the rest. And I truly love having things like these come across my path because they need to be talked about in more ways than they are right now. There are not a lot of articles, there are not a lot of podcast episodes on how in the heck do I announce somebody's death on social media, yet this is the world that we are all living with. So more conversations like this need to be had. That's all for this episode of Grief Grower. Thank you so very much for joining me today. If you're looking for grief support beyond this show, you can find free workshops and blog articles and my signature quiz, which is called What's Your Grief Support Style, at shelbyforsythia.com/links. If this podcast felt validating or comforting or educational or really, really helpful to you, please subscribe and leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And be sure to share this show with a friend because you never know what someone you love is going through. A huge thank you to the Grief Growers community on Patreon. If you'd like to join them and help me keep this show free from ads for mattresses and meal delivery kits, because goodness knows grief is hard enough without commercials, head to patreon.com/ShelbyForsythia. As a supporter on Patreon, you get to help me choose new topics and guests for the show, and you are the first to get behind-the-scenes access to everything that's coming up for me, like my new book coming out in 2026. Grief Grower is hosted by me, Shelby Forsythia, and the theme music is composed by Addie Goldstein. Until next time, I see you. I am so proud of you and the work that you're doing in the world, and I love you. Because even through grief, we are growing.